Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking east, really diving into travel in Asia, and specifically that choice many people face, China or Japan.
Yeah, it's a fascinating comparison. Two incredible ancient cultures, but offering, well, quite different travel experiences right now.
Especially since China's made some pretty big moves recently. I saw that in our sources, PBS News covered it, this expansion of their visa-free entry policy.
Oh, absolutely. It's a major strategic shift. They're clearly aiming to boost tourism, get more international exchange happening after the pandemic years.
And it's not just a small tweak, is it? The scale seems huge.
It really is. We're talking over 70 countries now eligible for some kind of visa-free entry. The latest updates, like for 2024, 2025, bring in Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia, Oman, Kuwait, Bahrain, all for 30 days.
30 days, wow.
Yeah, and South American nations too. Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Uruguay, also 30 days. Plus mutual deals like one with Uzbekistan.
Okay, so a really wide net they're casting. What about groups? Is it just individual travelers?
No, there are specific things for groups too, like tourist groups from ASEAN countries visiting parts of Yunnan, like Shifengbana, can get up to 6 days.
And transit. I heard something about transit visas changing too.
That's right, a big change there. The visa-free transit got massively expanded. Since late 2024, it's up to 240 hours.
240 hours, that's 10 days.
10 full days, exactly, across 60 different ports in 24 provinces. Used to be, 72 or maybe 144 hours in some places. So this is a huge leap.
Definitely sends a message. And I saw unilateral extensions too for some European countries and even Japan.
Yep, countries like Bulgaria, Romania, Croatia, Malta, and Japan itself. They get 30 days visa-free now, up from 15 right through the end of 2025. And there are mutual agreements, too, like with the Solomon Islands and Singapore is working on one.
Okay. So the door seems wide open, at least for shorter tourist trips.
For sure. But, the important thing to remember, it's in our sources, is that longer stays or going for work, study, or journalism, you still need a proper visa for that.
Yeah.
This is really about boosting tourism.
All right, so China's rolling out the red carpet, putting in this massive effort. But here's the big question, the one that kind of sparked this deep dive, really. Despite all this, and China being this incredibly ancient civilization, why do Western tourists still seem to prefer Japan?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, some stats suggest Japan might even overtake China in visitor numbers this year. What's going on?
Well, that's exactly what we need to unpack. We have to go beyond the visa headlines and look at the practical stuff, the cultural elements, the perceptions, all the factors shaping those choices for Western travelers.
Okay, let's start with the practical side then. China opens the visa door, but our sources still talk about navigating the country being sticky business. What are these barriers people hit on the ground?
Well, even if the short tourist trip is visa-free, if you do need a longer visa, the process itself can feel, well, invasive is the word used. Lots of personal details needed, parents' info, stuff like that. For people from, liberal democracies used to simpler forms, it can feel like a lot up front.
Right. A potential hurdle before you even book the flight. And then the big one,
Yeah.
the Great Firewall. That seems critical.
Oh, absolutely essential to understand. You have to get a VPN sorted before you go. Our sources are really clear on this. Once you land, forget downloading one. And all the usual suspects, Google, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, they're just blocked.
So no easy Googling directions or checking Facebook.
Nope. And even Google Maps, if you manage to access it via VPN, can be unreliable for transit directions. You need workarounds. It creates this digital isolation that Westerners just aren't used to.
Digital isolation. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. What about just, buying things, paying for stuff? I hear that's changed dramatically.
Completely. China runs on mobile payments. WeChat Pay and Alipay are basically essential. And here's the catch. Setting them up often requires a Chinese bank account or phone number, which is a huge hurdle for tourists.
So cash or cards are difficult.
Very difficult in many places. Lots of shops, restaurants, even street vendors, they just expect a QR code scan. No cash, no foreign cards. One source mentioned buying a simple snack becoming a whole ordeal without the right app.
Wow, a snack. That really paints a picture of the friction.
Yeah, and some hotels even use QR codes for ordering room service or other things. It's deeply integrated.
And speaking of hotels, I saw something surprising about hotels sometimes rejecting foreign guests, even if booked online.
Yeah, that's a weird one, but it happens. Sometimes it's just confusion at the front desk or maybe hassle with registering foreign passports properly. Their systems, like internal facial recognition, might be geared towards Chinese national IDs. So you could book a place on an international site and still get turned away.
And that would be incredibly stressful.
You bet. So you see, even with the visa ease, the day-to-day logistics can feel less like a smooth vacation and more like, well, an adventure requiring constant problem solving.
Okay, so practical hurdles are definitely a factor. What about the softer stuff? Perceptions of safety, cultural norms,
Mm.
how do those play in?
They definitely play a role. There's a perception among some Westerners, rightly or wrongly, that China might be less safe. Concerns about crime or maybe even, encounters with authorities. Though, to be fair, some sources do say major cities are much cleaner and feel safer now.
Hmm. And the cultural differences in just how people act in public? That seems to come up as a contrast with Japan.
It does. The sources describe people in China as perhaps more confident, more assertive in public spaces, a strong sense of rights to own their own turf, maybe leading to louder conversations or smoking indoors more often than Westerners are used to.
Okay.
Now, locals are often described as super warm, friendly, helpful, but maybe also a bit more direct, nosy, or blunt compared to the reserved politeness often associated with Japan. For some travelers, this feels authentic, like a cozy home. For others, it might be socially uncomfortable.
A different vibe entirely.
Yeah.
And sanitation, that gets mentioned too.
Yeah, things like squat toilets being common or observations about habits like spitting in public or maybe less emphasis on hand washing. Again, sources do note big improvements in cleanliness in major cities, but these perceptions exist and can influence comfort levels.
Okay, so a complex picture for China. Let's switch gears to Japan. Despite China's push, Japan keeps pulling in Western tourists. What's the secret sauce there? Why the gold standard reputation?
Well, number one is safety. It just has this gold star reputation. Solo female travelers often mention feeling completely safe walking around at night, even in huge cities like Tokyo or Osaka. That's a massive draw.
Huge. Peace of mind is invaluable.
Absolutely. And then there's the general culture considerate, orderly. People queue politely, they're quiet on trains, public spaces are clean, bathrooms are generally spotless. People tend to mind their own business, which many Westerners appreciate.
Order and predictability. And getting around. Is it easy?
Incredibly easy. Seamless convenience is how our sources put it. The metro systems, the bullet trains, they're efficient, punctual, and there's lots of English signage and support in tourist areas and on apps. It just works.
Makes sense. And the food. I keep hearing about the food.
Oh, yeah. According to surveys, food is the main reason people choose Japan. World-class dining, obviously, but also the amazing quality you find everywhere. Even convenience stores like 7-Eleven are apparently a culinary highlight for some visitors.
7-Eleven food as a highlight. That's amazing.
It really says something. And beyond the cities, the diversity is incredible.
Right. What else draws people in?
Well, Japan is mostly mountains, right?
Yeah.
Active volcanoes, stunning scenery from snow up north to tropical beaches down south. Then you have the culture. Hot springs, onsen, ancient temples, shrines, powerful history like Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Lots to see and do.
Definitely. Shopping's huge, especially for visitors from other parts of Asia. And then there's a whole appeal for specialized interests. The nerd stuff like anime, Studio Ghibli, manga-themed trains. Japan caters to those passions really well.
Something for everyone, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And the hospitality aspect.
Exceptional. We saw anecdotes of people going way, way out of their way to help tourists, like driving someone to a train station they couldn't find or personally walking them to their destination.
Wow.
Yeah, it creates this feeling of being really looked after. And there's this sense of always more to see. Every region feels distinct, encouraging people to come back again and again. Oh, and right now the weak yen makes it a golden opportunity financially, too.
So Japan isn't just relying on its existing reputation. They have a strategy, too, right? Something about deep inbound tourism.
Exactly. They're consciously shifting focus from just maximizing tourist numbers to attracting high value-added travelers, people who spend more, stay longer, and engage more deeply.
Spending over 1 million yen, I think I saw.
Yeah, excluding airfare, that's the kind of target. They're promoting these deeper experiences in less visited regions, focusing on nature, local traditions, intellectual curiosity, getting people off the standard Tokyo-Kyoto route.
And they're building the infrastructure for that kind of travel.
For sure. Things like making high-end transport easier, private jets, helicopter tours, even simplifying things for super yachts visiting. And importantly, it's quite decentralized. Local governments and destination management organizations, DMOs, are empowered to develop their own unique community-based initiatives.
Interesting. Okay, let's dig into maybe the thorniest aspect, national image and media perception, especially regarding China. Our sources touch on how Western media coverage shapes views. Some even use pretty strong terms like relentless China bashing.
Yeah, this is a really sensitive but important area. Some perspectives in our source material argue that a lot of mainstream Western media coverage focuses heavily on negative aspects, sometimes framed as a propaganda war with fabricated stories.
That's a strong claim.
It is. But the point is that media outlets inevitably filter and frame narratives. Studies mentioned show certain outlets, like Fox News, the New York Times, Washington Post, dedicating significant coverage to human rights issues in China, alongside the expected military and economic topics.
And how does China see this coverage?
Well, official Chinese sources, as you might expect, often push back hard. They tend to portray Western media as inherently biased, part of a plot to discredit China, sometimes linking it to historical grievances like past bullying by foreign powers. There's even talk of a perceived confidential memo telling Western journalists to avoid positive stories.
So deep distrust on both sides. Does the experience of journalists working in China contribute to the kind of coverage we see?
It likely does. The sources mention challenges like official secrecy, difficulty getting visas or renewals, pressure put on local Chinese staff who assist journalists, and restricted access to sensitive regions like Tibet or Xinjiang. This kind of environment makes open, comprehensive reporting difficult.
And that can lead to.
Well, it can lead to coverage that feels less nuanced, or accusations from the Chinese side that the media is being deliberately negative or even displaying insularity and sheer stupidity by not reporting positive developments. The bottom line from the sources seems to be consistent negative media reports likely do dampen people's intention to visit.
Okay, so media image is a huge factor. Tied into that, of course, is the political system itself, authoritarianism. How does that directly impact travel decisions for someone from, say, Europe or North America?
It's fundamental. China, being a one-party state with heavy censorship, means the government controls the narrative internally, and the media often functions as a state tool. That's just structurally different from liberal democracies. And in recent years, the way China's influence is often framed in the West, the securitization of Chinese influence has created what some sources call a toxic environment.
Making people wary.
Exactly. It worsens diplomatic relations and likely makes ordinary Westerners think twice about visiting a country portrayed as a strategic rival or even a threat.
And this isn't just abstract politics, right? It connects to real-world tensions.
For sure. Think about the ongoing situation in Hong Kong, the history in Tibet, border disputes with India, tensions in the South China Sea affecting countries like Vietnam, friction with various European nations. These things are reported, they form part of the overall picture of China and can absolutely deter tourists.
Right, so after all that, the practical hurdles, the media image, the political context, let's circle back to the human level. How do the actual interactions feel? Friendliness, cultural connection.
Yeah.
How do China and Japan compare there?
It's a really interesting contrast highlighted in the sources. In China, despite the potential frustrations with logistics, many travelers report that interactions with local people are incredibly rewarding. Words like friendly, welcoming, warm, tremendous help come up a lot.
So people are approachable.
Very. There's a sense maybe of being treated less like a formal guest and more like almost a family member. A certain directness maybe, but often very genuine and helpful.
In Japan, we talked about politeness, but what about connection?
Well, Japan's politeness and service are legendary, impeccable. But some sources suggest the culture can feel difficult to penetrate. While people are incredibly helpful and polite, forming deep personal friendships with locals might be harder. They might seem less outwardly curious about foreigners compared to the Chinese approach.
So, polite, but perhaps more reserved. Harder to get past the surface.
Perhaps. It's a generalization, of course, but that perception exists. You get amazing service and order in Japan, but maybe finding that warm, sometimes blunt, but deeply engaging personal interaction might happen more readily, if unexpectedly, in China.
Fascinating. So wrapping this up, it really feels like the choice depends entirely on you, the listener, and what you're looking for in a trip.
I think that's exactly right. It boils down to your travel style and priorities. Are you seeking that smooth, seamless, orderly experience where everything just works and safety feels guaranteed? That's kind of the Japan promise.
Right. Effortless exploration.
Yeah. Or are you looking for more of an adventure? A trip that pushes you, forces you to adapt, navigate complexities, but maybe offers these incredibly rewarding, deep cultural dives and spontaneous human connections. That might be more the China experience right now.
Two giants, two completely different journeys on offer.
Absolutely. Both extraordinary places, rich in history and culture, but offering fundamentally distinct ways to experience them. The question really is, which kind of journey are you ready for?